The major effect has been on foreign direct investments. Right now we do not have a lot of investors coming in because, as you know, the airports are not working. However, the real effect of this disease will be seen later because the cycle for the real estate sector is always a little bit behind to that of the entire economy. For example, people will first suffer, their incomes will first close, some people are losing jobs, some people's businesses are closing. We have people who have been surviving on NGOs to earn a living. Some of the investors have died, they will not come. And once these people are not spending, then the effect in the real estate sector will be felt a little bit later, in the later stages. We have a crooked kind of real estate regime, especially in terms of the rental-landlord relationship or the tenant-landlord relationship. We have a little bit of hiding. Our relationship is not clear. But even in such a circumstance, I want to believe that he actually needed to mediate the relationship. First of all, anyone who is a tenant, especially like our colleagues in arcades, who are arguing that they will not pay rent because they have not been working, my first question would be, before you make that argument, do you have a valid contract with the landlord? Two, in that contract, do you have what we call a force majeure clause that talks about eventualities that are not planned, which we can say they are acts of God? For example, like Corona, we can say it is an act of God. It was not intended. Assuming the contract is there, then to me the first option would be to negotiate with the landlords. If the contracts are not there generically, what the traders ought to do is to appeal to government, especially the Minister of Trade and the Minister of Finance, to arbitrate on their behalf with the landlords. One, we must all understand that in truth, everybody, whether you're a landlord, you're a tenant, you are affected by this COVID. Some of these landlords, by the way, have development projects they are undertaking, and they were inclined on the estimates of income from rent. Secondly, we are likely to affect our reputation globally, because once people riot, once people try to evade paying rent, our colleagues abroad, other people who are intending to come and do real estate here, especially investors, they will fear. Of course, the most obvious, there are no flights. And that is the most obvious movement which has been bringing them here. If there are no flights, there is no way they can come. In terms of what percentage, you really need to look at most of the skyscrapers in the areas of Nigeria. You're going to find out the background of those investors. Some of them, they might have a Ugandan passport because some of them were born here, but actually majority of them, they have a base in India. Majority of them have a base in Pakistan. They have a base in Saudi Arabia. So if you go to Nalia area, Nigeria, Chambogo, all those developing areas, they are actually, most of those buildings are owned by, let me say, foreign direct investors. We need to be ethical in the way we run our real estate relationships. Then secondly, we don't need to look at tenants as destitutes. They are partners in business. When a partner is challenged, we listen to their point of view. We need to take that relationship to be mutual, to be symbiotic rather than parasitic. But also landlords must know, especially traders, if you strike, be aware you might strike in the state center, but you have a mzigo you rent out somewhere, in a village somewhere. It could be in a slum somewhere. That tenant will also strike. whatever we do now, we must know that it is going to build a longer-term impression on our character and the behavior for which we do. What government needs to know, if you see, real estate is an enabler. Everybody needs shelter. It is a basic human need. Now, you cannot tax food so much. You cannot tax air. You cannot tax, even we are crying tax on water. Then you cannot ignore real estate, because first of all, by the way, we eat from a building under normal circumstances. Most of the things are done in a building. It is the building that gives us security. We are not going to sleep healthy if housing conditions are improved. Little is spent on health. So really, government needs to reduce as much as possible taxes on housing and real estate sector in general, including commercial.